Hi, I do believe that we are live and I'm sharing my carnivore Christmas menu. You may know that I've been carnivore for a couple of years and I've done some experimentation with adding back vegetables and adding back fruits. Now here's what happened. I have discovered that I can add back a little bit of fruit or some vegetables, above ground vegetables, low sugar fruits, 1 or 2 days at a time. If I try to eat fruits or vegetables for more than 1 or 2 or 3 days, my cravings start to come back and it really messes with my digestion. So I stick to meat, fish, poultry, eggs, and I do eat dairy and I do eat cheese almost every day of the year. But on special occasions, Christmas, Thanksgiving, birthdays, I will add back some things just to make the occasion a little bit more special. So my menu this year, which is pretty similar to most years, is the main course is roast beef. And that's what everybody has and we all love it. And then I also do a selection of fine cheeses. I usually do a brie, maybe some kind of a goat cheese, maybe a Havarti. And then along with that, I also will have pate. So it's really nice. You can have the pate and the cheeses. The other thing that I do is I will do a hard Parmesan cheese cracker, a hard cheese cracker, and I can spread pate on that, or I can spread soft cheeses on that. So I definitely don't feel deprived. The other thing that I will have will be a Granny Smith apple with cinnamon. I have found that I do tolerate the tart apples really well on carnivore. As long as I only have them once or twice, I can't add them back regularly or I start to get cravings. And then I also make a sugar-free cranberry sauce that's sweetened with stevia. I do that at Thanksgiving, sometimes at Christmas, and that recipe, I'll go ahead and put a link in the description so that you can see that recipe. I have found that that recipe is really easy to make, never gives me cravings, and doesn't make me want more fruit, more carbs, and doesn't mess with my digestions. So 1 day, 2 days, I can have a little bit of fruit or some vegetables and no cravings come back. So lately, I did add back just a green salad with what I call some kind of lower fiber fruits like peeled cucumber and some peeled squash. Did not have a problem with those. But if I eat carbs for too long, cravings come back and also digestive issues. The other thing I noticed when I tried to add back fruits and vegetables, started to have trouble with my teeth right away. Had a little bit of aching in one of my molars that I have to be really careful with. And I also noticed a little bit of joint pain. So I am definitely highly reactive to fruits and vegetables. Too much carbohydrate doesn't work well for me. But that doesn't mean that I can't have a fantastic Christmas meal with my family. And so what I do is obviously we all have the roast beef, we all have the cheeses, and then everybody else can add whatever sides they want to add, and then of course whatever dessert that they want to have. And I do make a mousse with cocoa powder and cream cheese and heavy cream and stevia, and I've shared that recipe before. So that is a dessert that I do on Christmas. So understanding that my carnivore approach is most of the year I'm meat-based, but on these special occasions I sometimes will add in some vegetables and some fruits. Now this is fascinating. Just recently I used the ChatGPT. So that is the new AI generator. You ask it questions and it will generate information for you. And I asked it for a 7-day ketogenic menu at 1,400 calories, and it generated a pretty good menu for me in just a few seconds. And then I asked it for the 10 best dumbbell exercises for building strength, and it gave me 10 dumbbell exercises, which would make it really, really easy to develop a training plan for the new year. My next step when I get back on ChatGPT is to ask it to design a carnivore diet for me. I asked it to define the carnivore diet and it did a pretty good job with it. So the next step is I'm going to ask it to design a 7-day menu, and then of course I'll share it with you and share any modifications that I would make. So this ChatGPT, this AI generator, is pretty fascinating. But one of the things it can do, it can generate all kinds of information. It can tell you what's on a carnivore diet. It can tell you what to eat, be at 1,400 calories on a carnivore diet. I know that's not a lot, but I'm a very small person. But what it can't do is necessarily predict the issues you might have, predict the cravings you might have, whether you might have keto flu. So ChatGPT is really fascinating for getting information. Even if you're on a carnivore eating approach, it's pretty fascinating to see what it comes up with. But ultimately, human experience really counts, especially when it comes to eating and training and having a healthy, happy life. So, of course, I hope you have wonderful, healthy holidays. And then after the holidays, as always at the beginning of the year, it's very interesting. The Sugar Freedom channel gets very, very quiet, a lot less engagement this time of year. I don't mind. I know that people aren't necessarily interested between Thanksgiving and Christmas with how am I going to get a diet and exercise plan going? How am I going to give up sugar, give up carbohydrates? But when things get really exciting is right after the new year. And so, of course, I want to be prepared with information for you. If you're already carnivore, I have found just sticking with it makes the holidays just so much easier, so much more pleasant, so much more joyful. But if you are curious about it and you want to start in the new year, this might be a place that you come back and check out carnivore tips for and strategies for living and having a happy and healthy life. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and as always, eat for yourself. Take care, everybody.